and welcome to the episode that's all about the early warning signs of burnout in terms of its thoughts and its feelings. And this is part 3. I've broken up episode 3 to be in 3 parts so that you're not overwhelmed by all the things I'm trying to say about the thoughts and processes. That would be counterintuitive to do that. So, is a little bit more about how the person treats themselves in burnout. And these are early warning signs too, and it may be that the person has been burning out for some time. So what somebody that's burning out may feel is that they've lost their mojo, and it is correlated to that feeling of I don't recognise myself anymore, but it's kind of more nuanced than that. When you've lost your mojo, you've lost your enthusiasm for things, and you've somewhat lost the joy of things. Now, it wouldn't be uncommon for somebody in burnout to say, not even my children bring me joy, not even my spouse brings me joy, like nothing brings me joy. And it's not that they don't love these people, it's just that they're full. There's nothing left to give. They're kind of undernourished themselves. So they can't feel that spring in their step anymore. They're worn down and they need some recovery time. They need some convalescence to get back to themselves, if you like. It's really important I'm going to do a whole episode on convalescence because I think it's so important and it's so misunderstood, and it's become such a dirty word in the UK. We used to have places where people would convalesce, and now the whole concept of it isn't even embraced really. So anyway, I'm going on. Okay, so the other symptom that people who don't recognise themselves anymore, who've lost their mojo, who kind of go like, who am I? Who have I become? I can't even like myself in a way, you know. I don't like who I've become. That would be a common thing people in burnout would say. And you've probably heard people say that, like, what have I become? You know, I've become this person that just works, or I can't enjoy anything anymore. And that person actually, on the whole, tends to start berating themselves. They start haranguing themselves. They swear at themselves. They talk very unkindly to themselves with very little compassion for what they're going through because they're weakened by it and they feel weak. And you know, that's a really important symptom in burnout, is that what's happening, that person's already going through enough, but what the psyche does with it is turn it against themselves. And like they should be able to dig deep, they should be able to carry on. And that's really just a belief, it's not a truth. It's not true that that person should be able to carry on. What we need is to help people understand that they're worth looking after. And work shouldn't make you sick. And if you've had too many things happen in your life, you're going to be full up and overwhelmed, and that makes sense. And people tend to hurt themselves with how they talk to themselves. They're not companionable to themselves. And it's so important that if you're going through the hardest time in your life, that you stand alongside yourself in solidarity and you walk yourself through to better times, not berate and harangue and swear at yourself. That's, although a natural reaction, it won't help, it'll just hurt you more. And so that's the third symptom I'm going to talk about, is that actually it's a very profound relationship with self that somebody's burning out. And it's not uncommon that people will physically hurt themselves. They'll jab themselves with scissors and pens and pencils, hit themselves with objects, cut themselves. Many different forms of self-harm, including the inner brutality, the thoughts, the kind of haranguing narrative, the way that somebody talks to themselves, but that can tip over into physically hurting themselves as a way of coping with the overwhelm, as to letting some of the pain out. And it's understandable, but it's really okay to reach out, talk to somebody, get some help. You deserve more, and you deserve not to be sick. So it's a very interesting complexity in burnout between thoughts, feelings, and actual stressors that somebody is dealing with. And what can happen is somebody who has started to hurt themselves through how they talk to themselves, or physically hurt themselves, then becomes angry with themselves for doing it. So somebody burning out is quick to anger anyway, because they're full up. They've got no space to deal with everyday stresses. So the smallest thing can tend to make them angry. The slightest demand outside, like somebody asking them to do something, can you please do this, can you please do that, they're already at their bandwidth, and that can actually cause people to explode in what we would consider disproportionate anger. There's another type of anger in burnout, and that's the anger towards the self, because now this person is haranguing and berating themselves, they're talking unkindly to themselves, and they're swearing at themselves, and they're physically hurting themselves sometimes, and now they're angry with themselves for doing that. So it's like the person can't win in a way, and it's really important that we get on an upward spiral here. We get to understand what's happening. Burnout is a neurological overload. It's nothing to do with you as a person, and we need to help you and help others navigate a way of adjusting life so they can have the life that they want and they deserve. So those are some of the symptoms. It's not a definitive list. There's many symptoms, as you can imagine, as many human beings. So I hope that was helpful. If you're interested in staying in touch, please subscribe wherever you're listening, and do share your experiences if you feel able to. Okay, see you on the next episode.